Welcome to a DropTent media production.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Magical Misery Store podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Dram. This week, we have Katonya Mosley. Very funny. We got into a lot of stuff here. Talked about second families winning the lottery. That pretty crazy. We talk about magnificent grandmas. And me and Neil do our best to not say anything inappropriate during a long discussion about the N-word and racism. You can check Katonya. You can find her online at Real Katonya. That is RealKatonya. You can listen to her podcast with Rachel Fogletto, The Leak. New episodes dropping every Monday. She hosts the Sucks, I believe is the name. Yeah, it's the Sunday night open mic at Fergie's Pub at 13th and Sansom. That's every Sunday night. Check that out. She will also be one of the hosts for the upcoming roast battle at Cave Philly. You can find details at Cave Philly at all the places. So enough of our stuff. Let's get to the show. Bye. Hello and welcome to the Magical Misery Tour, where funny people discuss life's unfunniest things. We have a very spooky episode for you, because this is coming out on Halloween. Right. Neil. Here with me as always is my host, Neil Goulwood. I did not prepare a pun.
I am just enamored with you. I'm enthralled. You look wonderful eyebrows. Mm-hmm. Wonderful eyebrows. I've always said this.
Dyed my eyebrows, overdid it.
You guys have great recording voices. I just want to say I'm loving you in the headphones. Not that I haven't loved you in ambient sound, but this is...
People have told me I had an ex who said it was like velvety gravel.
I would have talked dirty to both of y'all back in the day. I have a boyfriend.
So we should probably, yes. And we know him and he's delightful.
Our guest this week from the Leak podcast. We're completing the set. We had the one host, now we have the other. Katonya Mosley. How you doing, hon?
Good to be here. It's Katonya,
actually.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
rhymes
fucked
with
up
lasagna. Like Tanya with a
Dude,
K.
Man, you had to get one thing right. Two white guys.
I know.
You can't do this.
I never correct people either. In real life, I don't correct people, but on the recording, I was like,
that's a good one.
Please.
Yeah. And that's why I go by Kat, because syllables cause great anxiety.
They do. The more syllables, the more likely a microaggression is about to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. And then even when I switched to Kat for a while, people were like, Kat Mosley. It just like
that's just
confusing.
confusing.
Had to do something.
That's just lazy.
Mosley I've always liked. I would literally, as I was introing you, I was like, oh fuck, which name do I say? And I was picturing on a sign-up sheet Kat Mosley, because that was just how I was used to saying.
Yeah.
You're wearing an awesome Parliament Funkadelic
Thank you.
shirt. Is that from? Did you go see them when they came by recently?
Brian, because he works at venues, comes home with all kinds of swag.
Okay.
So I got this one from him. Yeah,
Nice.
I steal all his things. The hat is half of what I have on belongs to.
Nice.
Brian.
Did you meet him at Fergie's?
I did. I stole that nigga from Fergie's.
There you go. Well, this would be a good time to mention that you are one of the hosts. Is it still You Up? Is what it's called?
Yeah, I host. No, oh my God, that's terrible. We rebranded as Sucks because Best of Philly said that Fergie's hosts a bunch of like non-sucky open mics. So we're stand-up comedy Sundays, which in short is Sucks. So that's what we do now.
I like it.
And for new comedians, we have a thing called The Crop. So instead of waiting until 1 a.m., like right after the showcase, you can get up for 2 minutes. We pick 3 comedians every Sunday to go up and do 2 minutes of their best stuff while they're still in audience. So
there you go. That's great. And actually, you know what? While we're doing all the plugs now, where can we find you on social media? You got anything else going on we should know about?
Yeah, I am Real Katonya on Instagram, and I'm Katonya Mosley. Have fun spelling that on
none of that fake shit.
Facebook.
Real Katonya. Fuck.
Which is terrible.
No,
I now know that Real
Uncut
Katonya. I know. Ooh, I like that.
You can have it. Uncut Tanya.
Uncut.
It's going to look terrible in writing, but
Yeah.
Sorry, we interrupt your plugs like jerks.
No, that was
sorry.
So, social
Don't
media,
let the voice fool you. We're wildly unprofessional.
I just had a mini panic attack about social media. I'm born in the 70s, y'all. That shit just confounds me. So yeah, that and then shit. I'm judging the cave roast battle. Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's coming up.
Is
in
that like
November.
is that also a Royal Rumble way? We both did a Royal Rumble one.
Oh, nice.
But
I don't think anybody has tried that terrible
I don't think so
idea
either. I
yet.
was wondering. So this is just standard roast battle it's orchestrated with so many
Tournament
comics.
style.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm new to roasting, but I'm old to judging. I'm
It's old hat for her.
There you go. Experience.
Yeah.
So now we did a Royal Rumble roast battle. So the way this worked is it was always 1-on-1. Like everybody was assigned a number.
Okay.
Number. Everybody was assigned a number, and it would you'd go at it for a minute each, and then one would be eliminated, and they just kept going until they had to 30. This guy right here, he went up. He was number 2, so he was in the first battle up against Dave Premiano. I didn't think he had a chance. He eliminated 11 people in a row.
That's awesome.
Including myself.
That's awesome.
I was not ready to roast my best friend.
That's awesome.
And I
you
thought
were,
of so many good ones after.
You were off the cuff. You were just improv.
There's no way you could write anything.
Yeah.
Because we all had
You don't
numbers,
know.
so no one knew. I was like, this is going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And it was, you have to be, it's tough. A lot of comedians I knew it was their first time doing it.
Shit.
And we've roasted, I've done your roast,
That's
when
right.
it was your birthday roast thing.
My
when we were
30th
early
birthday roast
on.
was
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, a lot of these guys are going to realize, this is different than doing comedy, even though I'm only a couple years into comedy, too. They're like 2 or 3 years in comics. I'm like, trust me, it's different. You're not good at it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think you got up there and you got to unsheath your barely contained dislike for everybody.
I felt bad. It felt like Adam said that today when we were live streaming with Nerds with Words. This will come out in the future. He was just like, yeah, you kind of really saw how much hatred you have, and I'm like, I wasn't serious. I just know how to mechanize the things I see. It's
Right.
easy to do, stuff that happens in the room. If
You
I know
see like the
about
Predator. You see a weak point pop up.
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, it's a weird skill. I knew everyone forgot that, I've roasted before, so I was like, a lot of people are probably gonna be bad at this. It's different. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun.
Real time Neil is vicious though. Your
it can
real
be
time
really
shit
bad.
is
It
just
can be.
It's scary.
It's
stuff.
laser. Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
I can only mechanize that. I did it in a cave. I was fucking around with a kid in the front row just because I didn't like
You
the
didn't
cut of
like
his
his
chip.
stupid face.
The audience, multiple. Alejandro came up to me, another great comic's been on this podcast. Multiple people came up and was like, "Thank God you said something." That kid in the front row, he was just like a young white kid who's just vacant. He wasn't even looking at the comics. He was just off in the distance, broy. And I was like, "What's your name?" And he just
Oh wait, you just did it. It's such not on camera, but there is a broy squint.
yeah.
Yeah.
there's,
Just a dismissive
No joke. He I was like, "Hey man, what's your problem? What's up? What's your name?" And he just goes, "I'm Aaron." I'm like, "Oh!" I just blew his spot up. I was like, "Aaron, you're the douchiest guy in this room." So they just went on him. But I didn't mean it. It's just they were being weird. But anyway, enough about that. So I didn't mean it, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't mean any of the stuff I said, bud. Come on, I don't mean it. I do, 100%.
Yeah, I know.
Everything I said was true.
I know.
But
My
so you're
girlfriend-
doing the roast battle, which is so do you know? So all the comics know who they are, so it's definitely different. You're writing to them, so it's different that way. But so what are your thoughts going into it before we get into stuff? What are your thoughts? Because it's something you said you've never done in terms of judging it. Yeah.
No. So if I am laughing and I feel guilty about laughing, I think that's going to be a huge thing that I look for. I
Gotcha.
laugh and look around to see if
That's
it's okay.
That's good criteria right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I've been watching the rap battles on Rhythm and Flow.
Yeah,
And I know that it's successful if you can get a pop from the crowd and really possibly hurt someone's heart for life.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. Didn't you tell me you cried watching that show recently?
I did.
Okay.
I talked to. Yeah.
Also, I cried.
Also,
I have to watch this show.
it's very good.
I cry at fucking power metal and songs about elves and shit. I'm doing it wrong.
There you
Cried at that. Cried at that. I was like, oh, this is getting me, dude. It's happening right now. I didn't say I cried. I was watching it. I cried at it. I was crying at the television. Stop it, Rhythm and Flow. Stop it right now. You're talented. It got me. It was good. I was really excited because it was. Yeah, I think I figured it out today. It was when it got down to the final four. you all of a sudden all the contestants are realizing when they're talking to these big producers, and after everything that happens, and maybe if you check it out, you'll see you're like, they made it. Like this weird show. The show was so successful for these artists. They did so well, and that you show their talent so much that like they made it. Like you got to see like a making of a star in real time. It was kind of great.
How long has this show been on the air?
It just came out. This is it.
Okay, well, see, I'm curious to see how the people go in their careers from there.
I should not have been talking about it at Cave. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Those white kids did not know what I was talking about.
I thought white
So
kids
surprising
loved
to
hip
me.
hop. Well, I always that's always an alien thing for me because I don't know what it is. I somehow have old man in me. I never really got into hip hop.
You have that joke.
I
You
just
have that
really
joke,
started. Well, I have the joke, but I really just started appreciating gangster rap in like the last 5 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So, and I haven't caught up to the rest. And I think the reason I like so much of the older stuff is because P-Funk is like all the beats. That's where they come from.
My
It's all George
mom
Clinton.
got me into P-Funk. My sister only played like it was like Metallica, and then because of the guys dated, who some of them were still in our family.
She was still dating guys in your family.
Yes, a
Okay,
lot of the
gotcha.
guys in our family. Sorry, the way that goes is well,
Pass around Pollyanna every year.
Listen, you and your sister.
Hey, you said you needed a cheap gift.
God damn it! My sister she actually just on the stream today. She messaged in. She actually messaged in. But
That's why we're not live.
For somebody that she dated very early on when she was younger, he was still a family friend up until like this day. Actually, unfortunately, just passed away. But it was a thing of he listened to a lot of the like rap at the time. So Biggie, Tupac, like that stuff all going on. He was obviously he's older than me. But so I was like getting that from those folks and like that. And then she was Metallica and everything like that. So I kind of had a weird. And then my mom was like, Parliament? You like Parliament?
Yeah.
Parliament, Earth, Wind, and Fire, my uncle and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So, nice. Oh, I like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Anyway,
Earth, Wind, and Fire is pretty big with like suburban white middle-aged folk.
Is there?
I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is we could do it now. What is music or maybe a movie or something? You got Rhythm and Flow got you, but is there other stuff that if you're in a cry spot, you want to cry?
Ooh,
Yeah, it hits you
there's
emotionally.
Some good gospel that can like do it for me, or like singers who sing like that or use those tones.
Right.
They just reach.
Oh
me.
yeah.
And that's what rhythm and flow really like showed me so much. I'm from the South Bronx, and like people attribute the birth of hip hop to the South Bronx, and so I just took it for granted. But I really don't know. I don't know shit after the mid 90s. I really don't know anything. And so watching that show just taught me how much of an art form there is. And I found it to be like a higher expression of the art form. I do watch talent shows. And this one just like captured it, Like I've watched The Voice. I watched the first couple seasons of American Idol.
Those are a little harder to enjoy because like you can almost see like the showbiz mom shoving them like, all right, succeeded, you don't eat tonight.
Yeah.
Do well.
Yeah, and you see NBC all over it, or you see Fox all over. You see network influence and network loyalties all over the show. And like in this, I just saw people grinding in a period of 10 weeks. They were putting together like concert-worthy pieces. It was amazing. So
Very, very good.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I need to watch this.
Yeah.
That's good.
So good.
So you grew up in the South Bronx.
I grew up in the South Bronx.
Wow. What was that? What's the family situation? You got brothers and sisters, mom and dad?
I grew up with 2 older brothers and
or were
a
you
single
spawned?
mom.
Mom and Dad,
I
spawned
sprang
actually
from my mother's earlobe.
Do you know the Ninja Turtles? It's right in the I sprung from that. I was actually sorry.
And I actually like my story is kind of crazy. Like my father, when he came from Haiti, he came with a wife and kid, but he just kind of like didn't tell my mom that when they met at work. And like,
do I live alone? That's a great.
family.
No, I do not live alone. That's so strange.
So they met at work. This is an
I do
office
live alone.
romance.
They met at work. He's a physician, and my mom's an RN, and they met.
I just imagine applying this
We
to
met at
the
Harlem
office.
Hospital.
If like Jim just has a wife and kid from like fucking Wilkes-Barre.
That he just don't tell you about.
I completely live alone.
And that was his thing. His thing was I never lied. I just never wore my ring. That was my father's.
Well, that's clothing. Can't lie through clothing. Come on.
She didn't ask the right questions. I didn't feel like telling her. I don't know what the issue is here.
Exactly. Frankly, your mom was hot. Like that's what
Yeah.
that says to me. I was supposed to pass this up.
Can't lie through clothing. Neil. That's a dishonest fucking wristwatch right there.
Yeah, it's true.
So I have a bunch of brothers. That's why I say I grew up with. So
Right.
I'm the only girl though. My father has 3 boys with his wife, and then he has the 3 of us with my mom. And the last 3 of us were born within like a year. Like I was born in March. My brother that I grew up with was born 10 months earlier than me, and then another one was born between the 2 of us. So like both women were pregnant at the same time.
Whoa.
Yo, he was on top of the world.
Was he a doctor at being amazing? What was he?
That's what he was doing.
He's used to those doctor
Like,
shifts,
I am
man.
the shit. That's why I get why
Working
a
triple
president would get a blowjob in the Oval Office. Like when you're accomplishing, like what do you do with all of that?
Working all the time.
What do
You're pushing off the Russians. You see nice little.
I think it's just
Hey,
the
girl.
inconvenience of internal genitals that slow women down from doing crazy shit like that. I think it's just that I can't pull it out all
sure.
over the place.
Absolutely. I would agree with
There's
that statement.
I mean, you have breasts. That's a nice like. Hey,
Right.
How you doing?
Right,
Huh?
right,
Come here.
right.
Getting the message across.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just saying it's not. It's
keep going.
not the act itself.
Dude, is the dye from those eyebrows breaking inside of your brain?
Where
Dude?
did my shovel go?
No, but it's true. It's true. Breasts are a thing that you may use, but you can't really. It's not the same. You can't like poke people with your tits. I mean, you can.
They're not inherently aggressive.
I did like
Phallus
those.
is inherently
Anytime I see a movie from the 1950s where they have like the cone.
Oh,
no
sure.
tit
Well,
bras.
the cone, yeah.
I kind of dug those.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I from a young age looked at those like that can't be right. I was like those look uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't work like that.
So
Then
interesting.
they were
We're
terrifying.
Into like very basic geometric shapes for the female anatomy. That's
Oh,
very
of
interesting.
course.
we never had a square breast
Triangles.
phenomenon.
No one knows.
Maybe it's time.
Yeah, maybe
We
it's
need to
time.
do that. Yeah, it's time.
Cue
Time.
brazier.
Break out of the circular thing. Yeah.
So I mean, how did that all shake out? I mean, that's
It's wild. It gets crazier. So
when did the young ladies figure out what was happening?
somewhere in there, I think my mom got wise to it, and I think people who knew them both were like hitting up his wife because he did tell me that people had sent pictures of us to his home. But like when I was like 19, I got this weird phone call from my brother and my mom, and I didn't believe what my mother said to me. And so she had my brother read to me from Jet magazine. My father had won $10 million in the lottery.
What
the
And like,
Okay.
fuck is happening?
So we're gonna have a nice, smooth, easy show
I wasn't
here.
sure I was going to talk about. I didn't get it. You know, I didn't get the money. I didn't get money from him. But like,
But I mean, that right
It's
there is
crazy.
if that was a plot point in a movie,
nobody
you'd be
would
like,
believe
get the
it.
fuck
Yeah,
out of here.
everybody would walk out. Everybody would be like, "This is worse than Tyler Perry. This is terrible. I'm out of here." Maybe cut that. Maybe I shouldn't be recorded talking about Tyler Perry. I'm kidding. He knows what people say.
Tyler Perry's been with us since day one. How
Yeah.
you doing?
And exactly, I know that he is a fan and follower of the cast. And also, like in a Tyler Perry movie, it would have been a happy ending that somebody won the lottery.
Right.
But in this, it was just a complication
I can see that.
in the
Yeah.
story.
And all right, so he wins the lottery, but they still don't realize there's another.
Oh, by then they knew about each other. Like
Okay.
I think when I was a child, probably by the time I was 6, his wife knew. And I think before I was born, my mother knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they clearly made it work, I guess. If they were, no, I don't know.
My mom ended the relationship. My mom is very, very Christian, like
Gotcha.
super strong in her faith, and couldn't like do
I get
that
that.
relationship. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm sure.
And his wife didn't want to lose her dude, you know. So like
Yeah.
it kind
What if he's
of
the dude's who's also just winning $10 million? Like, they're not breaking us up.
nope.
It didn't
I'm
happen.
staying right here.
This guy's
Yeah.
batting 1,000.
Is
Jesus
he?
Christ.
How connected to brothers and sisters in that family and how connected? are we after all that shook out?
I used to call my father's medical office to talk to him, and then at some point he started having his family work there.
Really?
So there was this one time when I called, and it was like I could tell I was talking to a proper talking black dude. And normally the people who worked in my father's office when I was growing up sounded kind of hood, but this guy was like, you don't sound entirely of Baltimore. Like, what is going on? And he was also questioning me a lot. And so I called back a second time, and we had the like, are you my brother? Are you my sister conversation? So I've met live one of them, but I've talked to two of them like on the phone.
That's all. That's so crazy.
Yeah, isn't it nuts? It's so soap opera, yo.
Did he know? Did your father know you were calling in and to meet with them? To talk to them?
We didn't tell him about us meeting. So if my father is following my comedy career, he's learning now that I've met one of my brothers.
Was that on purpose? Do you think he'd been upset in some way, or?
Oh yeah. My father's management of his emotions when he's being exposed, he's under pressure, like not very good.
Gotcha.
He'll go to like loud vault, you know. And he's great. He has a great voice for drama, too. It's a very rich voice.
Doctor with a good voice, 10 mil.
You know what I mean? Like, what was he supposed to do with that? That's terrible.
What did he do with the money?
I'm not sure.
What do you mean, dude? He got two families. He's got a lot to do with the money, bro.
Yeah,
he started franchise number 3.
I worked the math out. I knew how many millions I was entitled to, but of course did not get those. But he did help out. He and my mom had some sort of arrangement where he like helped out for a little bit and then stopped. And then what I found out happened behind the scenes was he started talking to his legitimate kids about he was like, yeah, now I can actually take care of my other kids. This is what one of my half brothers told me, that he had like a family meeting and was like, yeah, I'm going to take care of my other kids. And his sons are like, other kids? Like, the fuck are you talking about?
You never told us that.
And he's like, yeah, I have 3 other kids. You even have a sister. Yeah. Like, maybe you'll meet them someday.
So eat up your cereal. And then we're going to get out of here.
We're going to drive. We're going to take a Northeast tour to meet the Mosleys.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then his wife said something along the lines of, kill me now. Oh, and I think that shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah.
That's an awkward dinner.
Yeah.
Do you know what they were having for dinner? Maybe that softened the blow?
I imagine they were eating organic food, whatever it was.
Right. I was going to say, if you're going to have
Upper West Side.
If you're going to be breaking second family news, better be pizza night. Yeah. That's the only way. Like, I got you your own topping. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, everybody gets their favorite.
Weird thing, hey, baby, I mean, I know maybe you don't want to have another kid, but what if?
What
if?
You don't have to.
You don't have to worry about it, though.
You've always wanted a daughter.
What are you?
I thought you'd be happy. I did this for you.
Yeah. Did your mom ever remarry? Or didn't marry, but did she have another husband down the road?
She did not. She has done some dating, but no, did not repartner. I mean, I do to some extent believe that they're like the love of each other's lives.
Wow. But met in the wrong time.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I know that's like an older generation thing. I remember my grandmother, after my grandfather died, she was never with another man. Like last 30 years.
When did your grandfather die?
1979. Christmas Day.
Ooh. Oh, damn.
Because we got drama in the blood.
Yeah, really. You guys know when to croak.
Yes, we do.
How old was she? 1970. So she was still.
She was 50.
She was 50. Yeah.
Wow.
So
she did the back 30. No fucking.
That's my grandmother's the same. I think my grandfather was like 46. They had been married, I guess, probably early on. I think she got married somewhere in her early 20s. But
just I cannot imagine loving somebody so much that if they're gone, I don't try fucking again.
You're a monster. No, that's true.
My father would agree. I think he would.
Yeah.
Dads have an entirely different philosophy.
It's different.
Look at that.
It's different. It's just a dick. What?
I'm devastated, but I mean, not that devastated. No,
I mean, come on. This thing has a mind of its own.
I think she was.
You only grieve from the waist up.
I think she was very Catholic, and in her mind and in the church's mind, she was married till death, and she didn't have any. She was raising her children, and that was it. I will see him in heaven. And that's what she went with.
There you go.
And I hope, and I as an atheist person, I still sit there and go, I mean, if it's out there, it's not. But if it is, it's not like her. Yeah, my grandma. But if it could be, it's beautiful. I would love that. You know what I mean? Their energies, hopefully, or something, are still somewhere mingling in the world. Mm-hmm. You know, but oh man, Father. So I mean, and did you end up? So when did you? I've asked you this before, already, you know, because I know when you did. But so how? Wait, here's the big question. Your mom. Did they stop working together?
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking just like, whoa, did they get any work drama? Like who had to leave? She's just like, I guess I'm going.
At some point, he moved down to a suburb in a more southerly state. So he like moved away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Smart.
So it was an easier split.
Weird thing. Do have kids over here. Also, we're just gonna be changing offices. No reason. Don't look into it. I don't know. Don't worry about it. You know. Okay. I was gonna say. So he moved. Okay.
He did. He was away, which is a cleaner breakup. Yeah. It is tough to break up with any after a few months and run into the person. That's awful. So this at least was.
Do you have any particularly messy breakups in your past?
Oh God, damn.
Especially South Bronx. I'm imagining New York in general. I'm not a city kid.
I'm such a late bloomer. I barely did anything when I was in New York. I did all my dirt. Most of my dirt has been right here in Philly, such that I'm like, was any of those an actual breakup? Like, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I was just getting with them dudes.
Philly's a good city for doing your dirt.
It is. It is.
I remember the dirtiest thing I ever did. I was still living in New Jersey, and I came to Philly to do my dirt, and I left very early in the morning to a sound of a girl crying in her boyfriend's bed.
Ooh.
I should maybe make that sound not as bad.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of it that way, but good catch.
I had a friend talk me into double teaming his girlfriend.
Oh, we have talked about this in the podcast.
And I always dug the girlfriend, and I was drunk, so why not? And literally, like, he finished early and then went to bed. This is like a loft apartment, which makes it all terrible.
Oh, dang.
She and I keep going and finish. She goes in to sleep with him, and I hear her burst into tears. Like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Ooh.
It turned out being more dramatic than that. He had set the whole thing up because he had cheated on his girlfriend with the girl I was dating. And he didn't tell any of us this. He told her as soon as she came back into bed with him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So again, Philly, where you come to do your dirt.
Weird nonsense.
God, don't get ideas for conflict resolution from porn. Just don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Do it. The answers are not on the hub.
That's crazy. It's always crazy to me. Like that. Then also, you know, the whole swapping logic, or like not even swap. I'm sorry, like someone setting up for someone else to have sex to because they did. Yeah. I'm like, you are thinking like a psychopath.
Like, I was just gonna say this person is sounding psycho.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I put it this way: he happens to be an Italian guy, and I looked at it as a very Italian. Like, listen, you're gonna be mad, but I already took care of it. And that's it. Why you can't be mad? You already forstucken. I don't know why I'm throwing fucking Yiddish.
I don't know what's happening, buddy. You're all over the place.
Is he also Jewish?
Yeah, he's also.
No, he's Italian. He could pass for Jewish though. You forstucken at my shiksa here. No.
Also, he's a very old man. I couldn't even do that. It's like, wow, okay.
With chronic bronchitis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not the first person, I want to say comic too. Who's been like, actually my childhood, or I feel like it just went by and we were there. I was alive and I was good. I didn't really but late bloomer. Yeah. Was this had to do with your mom being, very religious, or was that just something you were just like, I'll do when I'm ready?
Religion, having two older brothers.
That's right.
Oh,
that'll keep you back a little.
Yeah. Like I didn't even know that these conversations.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I know you say that almost as a bad thing. We have some people on here like, oh yeah, no, I just was a child and then I was an adult one day. But that's also pretty good. Like, you weren't being exposed to horrible things, maybe. And
that's all good.
Yeah, you play with Legos, and then one day you're 16 and there's a dick in your hand. That's the way if everything goes right, that's the way it's supposed to be.
For me, I did that when I was in 4th grade. That's true.
We were just comparing.
Yes. Well, No.
Do you have any idea how many girlfriends have asked me, like, did you ever do like gay stuff with your friends? Apparently, that is like a big thing with guys.
I think if
this is
you're
what
not
I-
raised from a young age with any, I really just wasn't. Not only was I not raised in a homophobic household, like definitely not homophobic, but I definitely was raised in just a we don't talk about sex household.
Right.
So I was like, you know.
I unplugged my John.
Oh, did you? It's okay. It's cool. It's probably
We can figure that out.
yeah. I get you. Don't worry about it.
Talking. I'll figure this out.
Well, that's all right. It's probably underneath. It's all good. But I was like, I can always cut all this out. It's all good. It doesn't matter. We'll just leave it.
Thank you.
Back.
Hey. I hear myself. Okay.
Perfect. But yeah, so the blooming kind of thing. At what age did you move? So your whole New York experience is just like you're like, yeah, I was just in New York.
Yeah, I was in
When
New
were you
York.
when until?
I was in New York full time until I was 13, and then I went to boarding school. Right. So I came home. I went back and forth, but I got a scholarship to a boarding school, and so I went away to school, and it was an all-girls boarding school.
Okay, so this is a good boarding school, not a Jeff
Not
Roser
reform
stolen
school.
in the middle of the night.
Was Jeff Roser stolen?
Jeff Roser was stolen, and I wouldn't say it if he hadn't did it on this podcast. But he woke up one day. It was supposed to be the first day of school. He woke up late. He's like, "Oh, I guess I'm late." Like, don't worry about it. And they stuffed him in the car. We'll drive you to school. Notice all his stuff was in the back. Like, yeah, no, you're gonna go live 200 miles away for 2 years. And he tried to like jump out of the car and everything.
Oh,
Pentecostal.
Yeah,
His parents are
his father was a
very
Pentecostal preacher.
And they did not like what he was up to with the weed smoking.
Yeah.
And,
So if you,
and they thought he was a bad child.
that's right, and they were right. So if you've ever seen Jeff Roser and wonder why he's that way,
Huge monster.
yeah.
terrible. Makes the baby Jesus cry weekly.
We had a couple of stories like that, like a couple of girls whose parents sent them away after like an abortion or something like that. And they'd come in and like repeat a year just to really get into the curriculum. You had to have money for that though.
Right.
They didn't
Yes.
award scholarships for post-abortion sendaways.
That was spectacular. But you were just like very smart. And you're just
I
like,
was
yeah.
smart, yeah. And it was an opportunity. And I think that my mom was very concerned about keeping me away from boys, which is so...
Yeah.
It's a great tactic. Let's just not address it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great method.
Yeah, you're going to go right up here. Because I got into a co-ed school, but she only gave me the acceptance letter to the all-girls school. And like months later, I
moms are
found the other
sneaky.
letter.
Is a minx.
Yeah.
I like her, dude. Devious.
Yo, my mom was a hustler.
She was
So
like,
we got-
yeah, you got one letter. It's a good one.
Yeah, we got your acceptance letter. Sorry you never got into the other one, sweetie.
Tanya,
Boys,
look.
rip. Let's just get that. She read that letter. yeah. She read that letter at just pregnancy. Oh, that's all she.
Exactly.
Get this out of here. That was.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what was boarding school like then? How far away from home was it?
It was in upstate New York near Albany.
Oh, okay.
So Troy, New York, like a 3-hour ride from home and like a very different level of wealth.
I can imagine.
Very
Like,
different.
What were the durations of time you were staying up there?
Yeah. This is like
probably-
Princeton. It would be our Princeton. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like our Princeton
Yeah.
for New Jersey. If you're from South Jersey and then you go to Princeton, you're like,
Yeah.
what
What
is
is this?
happening
Yeah.
here?
I went to Princeton for the first time recently. I felt itchy and uncomfortable the entire time.
Yeah.
Somebody just told us it was like, yeah, they're all like Hogwarts houses. Like it's all
Yeah.
castles. Like they're all.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So sorry.
That's like what my campus looks like. If people want to look it up, it's Emma Willard School in Troy, New York, and there are gargoyles on the buildings. There's like this vast campus. Scent of a Woman was filmed there. Other films have been shot there. Jane Fonda went there, and part of her documentary is up there.
Okay,
yeah, that's my school.
This looks very, very posh.
I went there for 4 years. In the middle of the campus, there's a thing called the Senior Triangle, and only the seniors are allowed to use it.
Oh
to
my
cut
god,
across
dude!
campus.
This is like where Skull and Crossbones and stuff.
Word.
It's
Word.
like this where they
Word.
start talking about the dark magic that the elite know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that there's a secret Emma Willard society that I'm just not
Holy
like rich
cow.
enough for.
So
Yeah.
how many, like Hunchbacks of Notre Dame live here? That's all I
Like-
need to know. I just need to know how many are in the bell tower. That's all I'm concerned
No,
about.
this really looks like a place that has like Johnny Appleseed's teeth behind glass somewhere.
And this is the
We do
original
have
apple.
teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know if the tunnels have been sealed, but there are
There's
tunnels under the campus, so you actually wouldn't even have to leave the building.
All, as they say,
To get to
all
school.
girls advantage.
Yeah. Oh snap!
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a new slogan. Hey.
Keep that
I
dick
like this.
out.
Yeah.
Now, was there like a brother school anywhere nearby,
There
or was it
usually
just?
is.
Not exactly, because Albany Academy was the I guess the school closest to our tier nearby, but it was a day school, and they had girls at Albany.
By the way, I don't
Academy.
know if that was on the screen right there, but Neil.
Everything's on the screen.
But Neil just had a picture up that looks like it's from like the brochure, but the headline underneath is Emma Willard School addresses history of sexual misconduct.
Okay. Also.
Oh shit.
Really doesn't belong with that photo.
See, I didn't get none of that. You know what I mean?
No.
I wasn't a target of these people.
That changes.
But we absolutely.
This picture, definitely. They're
That
all
does
talking
change
about
the picture,
sexual
yeah.
misconduct.
Yeah.
Did he also touch? Yeah, this piece of shit.
Yeah.
It looks like they're sharing a bundle of grapes.
Yeah.
Not just, well, a bundle of rapes is what they're sharing.
Oh, dude.
I stumbled on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's
I
hope
can
not.
never let us. I can never let a pun go.
I will get into. Oh God,
I'm
Emma Willard
actually-
addresses history of sexual misconduct.
I
and report.
remember this one math teacher used to just walk through the dorms because we'd have a time period during the night when everybody was expected to be doing homework, and math teachers would go through the dorms to see if people needed help. But that means that you're unleashing a man who's like a predator
dude. So, yeah,
in a girl's
yeah.
dorm.
It's
and
never
he lived on
it's
campus.
Never good.
And he
when
wasn't
they,
the only one.
when they use blistering. They're like in a blistering report released
Unless
this
it's
week.
a blistering guitar solo,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you're kind of
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah,
Yeah, Emma
Oh,
Willard School.
blistering with sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just oozing in my brain.
Sounds
Yeah.
like there was some oozing involved.
Emily Willard School voluntarily laid bare a history of sexual
Laid
misconduct.
Also
bare.
not
oh my
good
God, what is this
terminology.
publication? I'm gonna put my
This is-
glasses
this
on.
This is the local.
Record.
This is the Troy Record. This
Oh,
is
they
the
had
local
fun.
newspaper.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think a lot of them might be like, fuck Emma, because of all the people.
Sure.
Like, Troy is not super wealthy. And then there's this wealthy thing
okay.
in the middle of Troy.
History
Back
of
when I was
sexual-
there, they used to call it the armpit of America.
I feel like that's a lot of those schools.
Yeah.
A lot of those schools have a straight up hate relationship with the people who actually live
Around,
in
yeah.
the nearby town.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's almost 60 years, though. Misconduct involving faculty and staff at a prestigious all-girl private school that dates back at least 60 years.
Yeah.
Go down to the third paragraph. I'm seeing something there.
Where's
55 separate
55?
accounts.
That's right.
Separate accounts of inappropriate sexual behavior
That's right.
dating back to the 1950s.
Alan Buck, a math teacher, just like you
Okay,
mentioned, Cambridge Trusted,
yeah.
married a
And
16-year-old
guess
student.
what? That's not even the math teacher I'm thinking of. You see what I mean? They just unleashed
Mine was the
them.
religion teacher. I
Yeah.
think the math, you'd think he would know better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just- so
another
there's
math teacher. Maybe that's a requirement.
So
to
there's
be the
just a
math teacher.
line of well-educated perverts applying to this school.
Yep. Yep.
That's some cold shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there any rumors and stuff like that when you were there? Did
All
you
over
ever?
the place.
Oh, really?
Like, that's the thing. We knew a girl who the story. I mean, because you're fucking around with young girls, and so they'll keep the secret for only so long, but they can't actually conceal it. You know,
Right.
like adults can hardly manage trauma.
Right.
So like the girls were telling. I knew that a girl whose mom worked there had been fingered by the theater teacher. The abuse that I heard about.
By the way, fingered by the theater teacher is a great vocal warm-up exercise. Fingered by the theater teacher. Fingered by the...
Finger by that.
And at the time, we were curious about this. There was a crew coach that I think was hooking up with people.
Jesus.
There was a person who had hooked up with somebody's dad. Not quite the school's responsibility.
Hampton High School had this. They
Yeah.
had two gym teachers, two men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
Got popped.
we talked about it on Pete Eckenroth's episode. Me
Yep.
and him went to the same high school. A bunch of guys who'd graduated from my grade went back to teach, and were all fucking 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trash Triton.
Yeah.
There it is. I don't like this.
Ghost
Anytime
things.
they purposely put women in white, this whole purity bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
It's
That's
It's
a
like,
little-
you're so
It
culty. You're getting
Now,
culty.
is there any religious bent to the school?
There.
Oh, I hate this. I don't like. Sorry, what
I'm
they're
thinking about religion.
What they're looking at is just, I don't know, the roses. It's a lot of this has deep.
It looks like a purity ball.
If you know anything about
I
this,
can't
yes.
believe all those dresses were approved. Actually,
Yeah,
we
you
had to
can-
have our graduation dresses
Oh, yeah, we got
approved and
backs.
back out would have been a motherfucking problem.
Yeah.
Capturing like 17-year-old curve butt, like that would have been a problem.
Sure.
We were not doing that with our
So,
I
yeah,
see a
that
lot
dress
of
is a
skin.
little tight
We
on
didn't
the
have-
hindquarters
yeah,
back there.
Yeah, that maybe is a new millennium.
I
It's a new
think- yeah,
millennium.
definitely.
We had to be not all the way covered because it was hot, but not like that.
Right.
Yeah. So was
Wow.
it religious? There is a chapel on the campus.
That's pretty.
So it's
But
like
I think
so
they
it's
were
like
pretty
unofficial.
clean. They were pretty clean. They were cleaner with religious content than I think a lot of places where I've been, or at least like diverse with it. So when Ramadan came around, we talked about Ramadan. We talked about Jewish holidays.
Okay.
All right.
And we acknowledged Christmas, but like our gift giving thing was called peanuts and shells. So we like stayed away from Secret Santa.
Okay, so it's a little.
Did you have etiquette classes at this school?
No, and I wish we had. I had etiquette classes in Harlem, oddly, like as part
that's
of
fine.
being
I just,
at a Girl
when
Scout.
I think of these types of schools, they have very like they were born out of we must teach women how to be women, like the
And that- you can
man
still see it
definition
here.
of
Right.
women.
Yeah.
Of just like you are a lady and you always sit up proper, and this is how you use this fork. And
Right.
blah,
A
blah,
lot
blah.
of those schools are your father is busy, so we
Yes.
will be your father
Yes.
from now
Yeah.
on. Teach
Yeah.
you.
I
I
was wondering
learned
if they had-
napkin in the lap just because you have so many meals. It's
Sure.
interesting. Society will teach you. So if everybody at the table is doing cloth napkin in the lap, then you're like, oh, this must be what I
Right.
need to do. And that was the way I learned a lot of things.
That's
Eating
the
chicken
only-
with a fork and knife. That
That's the only time I do the cloth napkin is when everybody else does it. It's like
Yeah.
blatantly like, okay, I'm shamed into it, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. I
But,
guess I will put it in my lap. Yeah.
yeah. Wow. So when was your like first romance thing, particularly if they were like going this far out of the way to keep you segregated, unless you were, some ladies in there?
I mean, I'd had some unrequited love as a teen. I used to call there were these like chat lines. I'm talking late 90s, y'all. There were these chat lines you could call. And my first boyfriend was someone I met on the chat line. And when we met, I was 18 and he was 42.
Shit.
So, I mean, we've talked about my father. So it was very obvious with some awareness of it too. Like I did like older, and he was an older white dude.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did
a
you ever
musician.
Did you ever meet him, or was that?
Yeah,
solely-
we met.
Oh,
we
you
met.
met.
Yeah, yeah. My first like actual real life boyfriend. I don't count people I just talked to on the phone.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I mean,
Yeah, no. That's
I guess.
Well, honestly, in the moment, I couldn't remember whether or not you had said like my first phone related, like distance relationship.
no.
So you met him. How does that process work? I know obviously now we have online dating. We know enough about this, but you're literally going on a voice.
Yeah, I went all the way to Brooklyn to this man's apartment door and met
Did he not let
him
you inside because his
there.
other family was in it? Sorry, I just had to. It was too easy.
I went to his bachelor pad.
Yeah.
Shut the door, they'll get out.
Just gotta. Hey, just happens. I'll be right out in a moment. Just hold on.
Dad, where's the ketchup? These fucking neighbors here. I got it.
There's a strange movie.
Don't mind the
happening
baby
that I-
sounds. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it was utterly
So-
stupid. Like most of my meeting people, like the ways that I've hooked up, I've done some stupid things. I've gotten into strangers' cars, gone on long rides to meet a person, and been like, "We're gonna make this worth that long ass trip."
In the Halloween season, I just want to hear you be like, yeah. I mean, I got in a car with Slender Man. I mean, it was me. Basically, she got in a car that looks like me. That's what that's. I'm crazy, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, people talk about phones and cell phones and differences, but yeah, sometimes you were just like, guess we're going to the woods. I guess we're
Yeah.
Let's go fool around the woods a little.
Now that I've been watching Criminal Minds, I was actually doing a good job dodging danger. Like some serial killers do kill everybody, but dating these white men, it was unlikely that they'll tend to kill somebody who matches the original person, which is going to be a white person.
I learned
So
that
I was
watching
safe
Mindhunter. Serial killers
Yeah.
almost always stay within their
within
same
their
race.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with the child killings in what was it, Atlanta. Atlanta.
Yeah.
They really wanted to blame it on the Klan, and they were repeatedly like, no, these kind of guys don't do that. A white guy in this neighborhood would be noticed like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the It's okay.
That one wasn't my fault.
Condensation and stuff.
I feel like comedians should watch shows about FBI criminal profiling because we need that shit for dealing with people out in these streets.
Absolutely.
I'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta know.
love having an understanding of like, no, that person is just highly triggerable.
Oh yeah, no. You got to know who is worth engaging with. I think it was
Yeah.
Dorian. Wouldn't mind me saying he had a thing recently where he trash talked some guy in the audience, and turned out he had like a teardrop tattoo,
Ooh.
and it was very, very uncomfortable for everybody. And I believe he had to be escorted away.
I think I saw a photo of that.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh.
I think it was one of Eddie Gallagher shows. He snapped a photo of it, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know who to engage. There's somebody in comedy right now who like I just have spiked anxiety this week because I just had another encounter with this person.
Mm-hmm.
He bum rushed me at Fergie's. I was on stage hosting.
Is he a comic?
Neil, I think you were in the room.
Okay, you know this story
This
and I
piece
don't.
of shit. Fucking fight him.
And he will
Okay.
not go away. And I actually get it that no, this is not a person I reason with or engage in any way.
Right.
Engagement is an escalation. It is fucked up. The only funny thing about it was that night at Fergie's, he had a bad set, which he pretty consistently did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was clowning him as host afterwards, and he was arguing and then took off running toward me. So maybe got like 4 steps up before Brian, my
That's right.
boyfriend and bartender. So that's another crazy flag. Like my dude.
And bouncer.
Yeah, and
That's also
bouncer.
what he does. He was bartending, but he originally, was working
Brian's
there.
bouncer. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
gigantic man.
Yeah.
I can just see you met him around there like he's pretty cute, but let's see how he fucking handles it.
You know what I mean?
That's what did it. That's what
This
did it.
dude, I love the shit out of this. And like Brian is scary. And I've had to tell people I think that's part of why I love him. I actually he's super sweet and kind, and people also say that about him, and super caring with me. But I love that.
I get that as just another big white guy because I've had other girls say this to me because I look like
you look like you could choke somebody, and I like that.
And I just look fucking. If I'm just out there staring into the breeze, you know how women have resting bitch face. I have resting murder face. Like you do not look like you want to come up. And then you say hello to me like, hey buddy, what's up?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just fantasizing a little bit there.
Yeah. I like scary face. So dude ran up to me. Brian, like quickly, in bouncer brain, seeing what was happening, he like eased out from behind the bar, but I didn't even see when he fully came out. And so the kid never reached me, grabbed him, and carried him out.
Well, see, that's also a good dude. He will see like the blocks being built together so that he is already in position for when this happens.
Yeah. And he's watching. He's not yelling like other people being like, dude, shut up.
Yep.
He's not doing that. He's just getting closer to the situation. Yeah. And then the next time I saw this kid get kicked out of a place, he must have been working his abs because the bartender tried to carry him out and he was actually able to kick. So I imagine him having this like workout montage where he's like, I'm never getting bounced again. Like, fuck them. He's doing all this ab work.
Oh, God.
So
Just
he
an
can kick his
extremely
way out.
low stakes Rocky. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to get kicked out of Khyber pub. Wow.
I dare you.
I want to know. We have to talk about it after this because I have no idea who this is. Was this somebody I would know? It can't be. No. What was his beef anyway?
It was good.
Just you were making fun of him.
Great question. I mean, if you ask him what his beef is,
I didn't
it has
understand
to
why
do-
he bombed.
Yeah.
He bombed
okay.
for also a very specific reason because that's why you were talking about why he was bombing and his use of the N-word.
Yeah.
And how
how
that was using, which I
I
want
left
to say
that an important part of the story.
there's multiple parts of this thing where it's fun because you have to understand where he is positioned. He's positioned for this bar. The stage is for people who are never been to Fergie's. The bar and the stage are opposite positions. He is towards the back of the room, close to Brian.
Yeah.
And at the end of the bar too. So like Brian just has to get out from the end of the bar. So he's just talking to Kat. The let's say assailant, and he's talking to Kat, and the whole time also about a subject that which, as the white people in the crowd were like, yeah, you guys have it out. I'm not gonna I have my opinions on it, but I feel like you guys will handle this about it, and that's what they were doing, and you were jabbing and having a good time.
Well, I will say you can always count on white people to absolutely agree with you and do nothing when it actually matters. So.
I got up, but the best part is
you will.
no one cared because I was like, he doesn't know that Brian.
Yeah.
It's because I was like, don't. And then before you know it, Brian just like holds him up when they started to walk towards Kat. As soon as he was like, you, and then Brian just goes, what the fuck? Like, just swooped in, arm around the neck, just picked him up this way, just walked him towards the stairs.
Yep.
And it was spectacular.
There were so many people in the room between him and me. It was such a kamikaze mission for him to try to run up on me. I think Satoya was doing music, and then there were like 3 or 4 people over 6 feet tall in the room.
Right.
There
were like, and I think a couple of people who do comedy but also bounce. It was such a dumb night to try to get me.
Right.
And he apparently, in talking to other comics, they've talked to him about using the N-word before. I believe he's of Indian descent in some way, and
okay, I think I know.
I think I told you, and comics had told him before later. He was like, no, we've talked to him about this, and then Kat got up and was jabbing since he's like kind of saying he said what he wanted to say. And
he got the full amount of time. Like Neil, you ended up not on the list. We went so long.
That's the thing they don't realize. Like, they didn't even light me. Maybe I'm getting better. It's like, no, I'm not lighting you so I can say whatever the fuck I want when I get up there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna let you do your thing, but the risk you face is that somebody's gonna have something to say about it. And I was just like, and here's the thing. I don't like it when non-black people say nigger, but I believe that it can be delivered in a way that's funny. And I've heard at least one way that a person has done this. And so as an open mic host, I'm kind of like, go for it. But if you bomb at it and kill this room, which is already dying at 1:45, like, I'm going to get up and say something about it. So nigger hard R with no punchline? Fuck?
See, I'm trying to put together a bit right now, and I'm terrified of ever trying it.
That is a functional terror.
I am dating. Well, no, it's hard. I told you, I'm dating a girl right now who swears that she has never, ever said it in either form, and I don't believe her. That's all. Like, you haven't sung along to a song in 20 years. Is that it? And I have an idea for a bit, but it's already like, there's no way. It's not going to be worth it. There's no way I can make it worth it.
R in a well.
No, it wasn't hard R. It wasn't hard R.
You're just mean, A at the end in a song. I have absolutely been like, oh, why am I saying that part? That's not going to work. Like, you're just singing a song possibly or whatever, but
you just don't want to create the habit. Like, how old is this girl?
She's almost 30.
Yeah, because a 30-year-old saying that they've never said nigger or nigga, like, is like when I used to pretend I wasn't masturbating. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
as Kat's hand is slowly going down.
I know. Where's my hand right now?
I don't do it.
Oh God! I don't know why when you said it like that, the way you were sliding your hand up, I was imagining a shootout instead.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna get there first?
Yeah.
I don't do it.
I never.
Oh God!
And I've absolutely tried masturbating with people in the room. I will admit that. So admit you say nigger is what my point is. It's safe to admit.
I've never. No, I've never hard R. I at least I don't think so.
Yeah.
But the A, I did it once on stage because the comedy.
That was hysterical when you did it.
Very funny. It was very funny, and I knew, and I did it in a guilt like. The comic before, he was roasting me and stuff, and he was talking about how much I would be like a Macy's model, like I'm not like a model, male model. I look, and he was going, and he says like, you could, it was just the right timing, he was like, you can have that pass. I would let you can have one, you can have a card, and you can have it. He said at the beginning, well, I'm sitting there, I get up, long pause,
right.
I say it, and I do that.
He was daring.
I go like, huh? Like I say it that way, and then everyone starts laughing. I know. I was like, it's not. I'm not doing any context. I'm not doing a joke. I literally just went that way. It's fine. Big laugh. And I just but that's the only time. Only because I was right after him.
Yeah.
It just was. Yeah. Anyway. But I
wonder. Y'all are video recording this. I'm wondering if I should look disapproving.
Yes, I would love that.
Like this.
I've been sliding my chair.
Was it worth the laugh? Yeah. Was it worth the laugh? Was it, Neil?
But the real question people don't understand is you don't know if it's worth a laugh until you do it.
I mean, on the leak, Rachel and I had a conversation with Mike Logan about this. He was in some sort of contest. I think you had to. It was a be inappropriate kind of contest.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it sounds like it was a well-crafted bit. He put a lot of thought into it. He said it with all the pain and awkwardness. He got the laugh, and he also noticed Black people in the room. And while one of them was laughing along, one of them clearly looked offended, hurt, uncomfortable. And maybe I think you can feel a little betrayed because you're like, I bought into this dude.
Yeah.
And then he did this. And that's part of like human experience, the audience side and the performer side. Like as an audience member, I mean, we have that. We have Cosby. We have people that like you admire, and then they do things that really let you down. Yeah. And then as the comedian, do you want to make people feel that way?
I'll tell you what's annoying me. I don't like this is the part I don't like. This part, which I know is a Louis C.K. joke. I don't like when we're talking about the concept of saying it.
Yeah.
I get it that a person of color would not want to hear me say that. Like, I totally, like, that makes sense. But I mean, like, when we talk about this, because in comedy I feel like we talk about it in an academic sense, it gets on my nerves that I won't say it.
Yeah.
Right.
So right now I'm like questioning. I was thinking, it was like, why am I dancing
my
around
rule of
this?
thumb.
But if it makes someone hurt, I don't want to do that. So I don't care. I just don't.
Here's the difference. Here is the difference, though. Exactly what you said. Like different people in a crowd, you have to know your crowd.
Sure.
If I am in a group of all white people and I say it in order to avoid saying the N-word, and I see white people being like, "Dude, come on!" Like, no, you don't
shut up.
fucking get it.
Yeah, that's just kind of fake, especially if you're saying it like talking about someone saying it.
Yeah.
When I tell that story, I was kind of like, yeah, I did just say to the people, he said that on stage. I don't know. I'm still avoiding it now just because I think my job is, which is fine. I just mean I did for academics. I was like, yeah, well, he said that on stage, and I was like, oh wow, that's what he said. Like no one thought I was trying to get one over on them.
Yeah.
Oh guys, I got to say it. Like that's not my go-to.
Yeah.
The word
Deep
doesn't
inside
scare
Neil's
me.
head, like I think I can get away with one.
No, it doesn't scare me. The word doesn't scare me. I'm doing it now because Kat, of course, puts that as well in my head. That you might, even if you're offending one person, why do it if it's still because one person's laughing, the other person's like, I don't like that he said it. I don't like that he said it, and I get that. Especially so I totally get it. But I mean, other than that, anyway, I'm sorry.
I was actually wanting to jump back a bit. What ended up happening with the 42-year-old?
Yes, that's what I was.
Oh,
I want to hear some.
he broke my hymen.
I thought you were going to say
not that
heart.
day.
I thought you were going to say heart, and I was going to go, "Aw."
No, I mean, he ended up being my first boyfriend. Oh my God, this feels so long ago. But from time to time, we're in touch. Like we'll check in,
Still?
like every bunch of years or something.
Yeah.
Check in. He's accomplished things like as a musician. I'm not talking about what happened between the two of us. I'm avoiding like the intimacy.
That's
I'm trying to
fine.
remember.
Wait, he's accomplished things as a musician. Is he a known musician? Did you hook up with Leonard Cohen?
You got me. I love Suicide
Hallelujah.
songs. Isn't
There
he
we
the
go.
one? He's the one who sounds like Suicide. That's what he sounds like.
He does sound
Leonard
like that
Cohen.
quite a bit.
Yeah. It was him.
How long were you with him? Do you remember at least?
I think like a year and a half.
Okay. It's a decent clip.
And I think what was going on was like I was a kid and I had friends and I had family and they're like, it was New Year's Eve and he was really thinking he was going to spend New Year's Eve with his girlfriend.
With his child bride.
I know. Those expectations were too high.
I bought you so many of the little
now.
confetti poppers.
I know. Remember I got you your first
I was
Frappuccino ever.
I was going to let you drink champagne at midnight, just a sip.
Behind closed doors. You and my other kids.
That is, it's astonishing. Year and a half, 42.
Yeah.
Was that something also that was older men a thing? We were just talking about this actually yesterday in terms of women and older men. That trope of that some women will date, and I will admit, the young lady that I dating, she was like, I kind of dated older men until I met you.
Yeah.
Well, you were also saying this came up in conversation yesterday where your meaning was I asked my girlfriend point blank while he was in the car, and Neil yelled at me like, "What do you expect to get out of this?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, you were barking up the wrong tree.
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
She had said that to me. Like she was like, actually, you're the younger, you're my age, so it's different because I usually dated older guys a lot of the time. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then, you were like, tell me their names, pal. How old were they? What was the dick size? Those 3 things, all of them.
Wait, so
know.
you were interrogating Neil's
No,
girlfriend?
I was interrogating my girlfriend.
Oh.
It was me, my girlfriend, and Neil driving to a party to meet his girl. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, so what was the whole? Was it almost always older guys? Like how?
She's dodging the question.
Yeah.
That's
there
fine. We
was-
can back away
There
from it.
was
I
a
don't know.
whole bunch of older men. There was like, there was a bunch of them. Many like in real life, but then a lot in my mind. But like also real life, yeah. And no, some older black men. I hung out with a couple of dudes. A lot of older men. The ones who are coming to mind right now are, you know, that game they play with the ball, and then they let you win the first round, and then they take your money the second round.
Oh yeah.
Ball
Okay.
and cups. Yeah.
So that was how I met 2 of my older men that I've ever been with. I mean, I've
You're
had
hooking
some
up with
shitty
3-card Monte
situations.
dealers?
Yeah. They were fascinating to me. They dressed like pimps. It was amazing. It was amazing. We would go to these places where I wasn't really sure that we weren't trespassing. You know what I
Right.
mean? We would go, like, how'd you get the keys to this house?
So they were
Okay,
exciting.
Is this your car?
Yeah.
I guess so. Like, they were dangerous. Really. And those were intraracial. So I definitely could have been choked. Yeah. I made it through.
Out there, just out and about in the world, dude.
Seriously.
Out and about.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
chasing dreams.
Just
That is chasing dick dreams. That
I
is.
wanted to hang with the dudes who had hustled me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Wow.
definitely was like,
There is a little bit of a feeling of like, okay, they kind of earned it.
yeah, you got me. I've seen this on TV, in movies.
I couldn't pick where the ball was,
Yep.
and I mean,
Yeah, I can pick where your bones are.
that's how
She didn't even want to really go through with that.
we got there. You pointed the
That's how I
direction.
don't like for people to say nigger. Like when I'm watching movies and a
Oh,
white person is saying
hushed
nigger, like there is a Paul Giamatti line in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
I might go back and see, but there's a point where he's like, "Get these niggers into their truck," and it's
Yeah.
like,
I-
I'm like,
as
listen
soon
your
as it-
jaw.
Yeah.
Let it go.
As soon as you're quoting like, oh yeah, this white actor's quote from 12 Years a Slave, like
Yeah.
it's nothing good.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
It's nothing good.
Only Brad Pitt's lines are going to be good
Right,
in 12
yeah.
Years a Slave. Yeah. But Paul Giamatti has a tense jaw saying,
Not get
that.
these N words more food. Like, it's
Exactly.
not.
Exactly.
It's never good. Yeah. It's never
And there's,
fun.
I want y'all, if y'all haven't seen it, like look up the Run Nigga Run song. And I guess you have my permission to Google it. But it's a very catchy song.
Neil,
You're usually good with music. I'm surprised. Is that what's
I
that
don't,
from?
I don't know.
It's from
that
12
one.
Years a Slave.
Oh.
And it's the overseer makes the new slaves clap along while he sings it
I
to
do
them.
realize
That might
I
be. Would
watched
that be
that.
like an old folk song? Or
Yeah.
something? Pull it
Watched-
up. We might be.
yeah.
okay
I
on
watched it once, and I'm realizing now in my horror craze, all the movies I've been watching, I have not watched 12 Years a Slave like again. And that's why I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what are
See,
you?
I missed that one. That one and Birth of a Nation came out around the same time, and I think I saw Birth
Oh,
of a
there's
Nation.
a new Birth of a Nation?
No. The one. It was that. Fuck. What was his
the
name?
remake flip.
Well,
right?
no.
You're talking about
It wasn't even a remake. It just appropriated the title.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Who was the guy who led
Oh,
the slave
here.
revolt? Hold on.
Oh, that's terrible.
Let's just all stop and look at our
No,
phones.
Yeah.
I can do this. It's fine. What was the name of it? It's
Birth of a Nation.
That's right.
I'm gonna be so.
I want to say
mad.
John Brown, but I feel like
Yeah,
I'm making
Birth of a
up
Nation
names.
2016.
Yeah.
So you have that. So that's Nat Turner's.
Nat
Nat
Turner.
That's
That's what
terrible.
it was.
John Brown is from I Shot the Sheriff. Sheriff John Brown always hated me. For what?
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
Sorry.
I know there was Brown's Rebellion, which was some kind of slave
Thank you.
rebellion, but Nat Turner was the one I was really trying, and that was the one they put under the name.
I just lost my
Birth of a
black card. I will never forget you again, Nat Turner. Yeah, there it goes. And it's not spelled
So
nigga.
I don't
Hey,
know if
Paul
I
Dano.
want
I
to.
like Paul Dano.
We might get
See, in
pulled, so we probably will.
Oh, if you play the song.
I think so.
But it's all. But
Oh,
I don't know. It is a
damn.
12-year-old movie. I don't think they. I don't think they put this on the soundtrack.
Well, here, if I can get it somewhere else.
It's very,
That's
very
weird.
catchy. Okay, so I did date one man who was younger, maybe more than one. Brian is actually younger than me. But my boyfriend before Brian, like the problem with him was I played him this song and then he couldn't get it out of his head. So he was walking around thinking, and it's like over and over, run nigga run, the patty gonna get you, run nigga run, boy, you better get away, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I get a little
very
worried now
catchy.
because we will.
You're gonna have
it's YouTube. Remember, it's
Yeah.
not the movie. The content on it doesn't matter. YouTube is the
Right,
ones where when
okay.
they see you
like,
using
this
it.
is sensitive.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
they see that. So, but anyway.
So,
Yeah,
but the
we
point of
got
that is like he starts the song, he doesn't seem entirely in his skin in the word, and by the end he like gets there. So I like for people to go all the way
Yeah.
when they do say, isn't that weird? I shouldn't say like, I appreciate it. Like for your craft, feel all the discomfort
Right.
Sure.
of saying the word and saying the word in front of people and what reactions you might like. That's your craft.
Are there
You're an
any
actor.
actors that have been in a lot of period pieces? Because I'd be willing to bet there's at least one that just really loves saying the N-word, and this is the only way he can
Well,
get
that's
his
Tarantino's bullshit. That's the
Tarantino.
whole
Oh
my
Tarantino
God.
nonsense.
There you go.
Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
like every time. It's like, oh, you worked it in again, bud.
Yeah.
Good for you.
There are even Tarantino moments where I'm like, the black people don't feel comfortable
Yeah.
with that nigger. That's a nigger that Tarantino put in their mouths, you know?
It's ridiculous.
Like, they seem tense. And I talk about having had a nigga epiphany because I didn't grow up allowed to say nigger.
Is there any way we can make that the title of the episode, or is that...
Well, you do the asterisks and stuff, but I doubt why do you always have to go? You know what I mean?
Because it has a nice ring to it, and I'm not allowed to say it. I'm always waiting for something to just tickle my ears. And like,
yeah.
that's a bad touch tickle, but it's tickles.
I
But
mean,
it's like real shit. And it might be behind. I'm wondering if it's part of the rule, the discomfort. Because when I was younger, didn't.
Say,
I don't know. There was like an understanding of nigga that I didn't have when I was saying nigga. And then my mother had a stroke. And while we were in the hospital, like there were different teams of people. There were a lot of people of color there. And my mother worked in inner city schools. And so there were a lot of black people there. And they had really drained her and stressed her out. She taught nursing at a vocational school. And then in this hospital, like some of the staff was just garbage. And then finally, like the person cleaning her room one day was like, girl, them glasses is nice, to my mom, and was like, you better hide those for somebody steal them. And then the next day they were missing.
Jesus.
And then the next day the person who had said somebody's going to steal them brought us in a bag of lotions that she had stolen from the hospital. And I was like, so it's obviously the bitch who told us that she was going to steal them. And then I had my nigga epiphany. I was like, niggas is everywhere. I see niggas like this is niggerdom. This is what it is. And I could see it in the administration of the hospital. I could see it in the public schools. I could see it all over my life, not restricted to black people. It is very difficult to explain, but I feel like you have to be able to recognize niggerdom to use the word with an understanding.
I've had white uncles try and explain that for a while, but it doesn't sound quite as good.
Yeah, no. Does it not sound right, I guess?
No.
Coming from your
It's not all of
pasty-ass
them,
uncles,
but,
bro.
Oh, God.
And then, of
Jesus.
course, Chris Rock does a good job, like trying. Like a lot of people have,
Of course.
have tried to do it, and I think a lot of it is based in Chris Rock's Black people versus niggers. Like, it's really good, but only experientially. Like, could
That's
I
right.
really see it? And now I feel completely free
It looks good.
with the nigga word.
I was gonna say that
With the nigga word,
That
yeah.
bit looks great on video, just like him telling it to that crowd.
Right.
But if you had to watch the video of like the white family watching them watch that,
Right.
might not be a little bit as fun. I don't think.
And he talks about
That would be
that.
a great fucking art installation, actually.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary? I forget what it's called.
Are you-
There's a like 1 hour documentary I caught on Hulu where he talked about making Bring the Pain.
Oh,
and
shit.
he had to
Okay.
choose an all black audience. Like he had tested in different audiences and an all black DC audience, which is gonna be different than, for
Right.
instance, an all black North Philly. Of
course.
Like, so he got enough DC people, which is gonna be a certain class of people. Like Tony Rock talks about how like when they performed it in front of hood audiences,
Right.
the hood audiences took the nigga part. Like
Right.
very personally,
Very
and was
personally.
like, "You calling nigga, man? You got
Yeah.
problems with me?" So like, and then mixed audiences, white people were I don't think it was so much about the discomfort of white people, but like maybe black people weren't free to laugh and understand.
Right, with those eyes on them, they didn't
Yeah.
exactly want to be co-signing this.
Yeah, that's like talking in front of company. You don't want to act up in
Yeah.
front of company. So like the all black
So many
audience,
fucking
in
layers.
DC,
I want to
so
watch that
many.
actually.
Yeah, thinking about audience is huge. I mean, at
course.
that level, like an HBO hour, like you absolutely want to. Because you do want to present your like most risky material, right? You want to go
Right.
hard in your comedy.
It's the thing with risky is it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
That's why the people we remember,
Yeah.
like anybody, like, oh, we went on a cruise and there was a guy, he was silly.
Yeah.
You're never going to remember any of his bits, but the guy who like pushed you right to the edge
Yeah.
and pulled you back,
Yeah.
that's the shit you fucking quote, you share.
Quotables.
Like, you need to see this.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Even the white people can't really quote that. Yes.
Well, that one in particular.
I was
yeah.
just about to say that. I was like, that's if anyone says like that, that's, I don't even sometimes say Chris Rock. I was like, yeah, that's the N-word bit.
Yeah.
That is
because that's what he's
there's
done.
3
yeah.
N-word bits, 2 of them by white comics Dana Gould's is
Ooh, I don't know that one.
very funny because
I don't remember specifically, you described it the other day.
Yeah. It's such a funny bit where he's talking about the how PC. I don't know where I'm gonna fall on this. He's talking about in the episode. He's talking about the word retarded and if the usage. And he says, I don't live in those shoes. And he's talking about him. And he's not using that word anymore. He goes, I don't do that anymore. But he says there is a school. I grew up near the home for the retarded. That is a word that they use. And he was like, it would be crazy if you were driving by and you saw, and he says, N-word cunt. And I even said the C word there. But he says, if you'd be like, what? And he'd be like, Jesus Christ, where are we? Like,
Right.
And he says, but he's doing this whole kind of entendre here, like this whole thing where he's just talking about words, not using them, stuff like that, But he goes there, he writes it in, so I'm intrigued to check it out. There, and then the other one, of course, is Louis, and that's a whole different ball of wax
Yeah.
there. But Dana Gould's is because he's talking about, he's like, words, and he says at the end of the set, he's like on the ground, he's like, I know what I did here.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
You don't have to write me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he talks about it. It's
I
clever.
appreciate the premise of the Dana Gould one. The Louis C.K. one that I didn't review before this pod, so this may be error-ridden, but what I understand about it is how dare you make me do all of this mental work,
Yes.
which is the refrain of white fragility. When
Sure.
people are being like, white person, you need to think and make effort. Yes, that
Yeah.
is the exact effort
Right.
you need to fucking
Yeah,
make,
yeah.
is in your head, think and feel things and hold it. Just like I might be offended by things and I
Right.
hold them. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
attack you with my feeling about what you're doing.
Right.
You sit in your confusion and discomfort
Boom.
and learn how to hold that and like not say a word that
Yeah.
has been and could be deeply offensive to. So I don't like
Sure.
the premise of that, which is
I
you're
gotcha.
making it hard for me. Now I have to
Right.
think it.
I think maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was a bit more. I think he was more complaining with specifically white people's use of the N-word. Because his argument
But
being
it's
like
close to that.
just saying the word itself, like you're making me say the actual word in my
I
head.
say it in my head, right?
Right.
That's white fragility.
Yeah, that is.
You're making me do a thing.
Right.
is- yeah. Like you'll be okay, Louis. And I know that Louis sometimes identifies as a marginalized person, but we can all agree.
Sure.
Presents
People
not
forget
that
how
way.
Mexican he is. He's super Mexican.
Including him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know that Louis forgotten that he's Mexican, but Louis presents the way he presents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he comes off. I was shocked to find out he wasn't Irish.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, yeah. Not that I'm an expert in the Irish, though I've tasted a couple. Like, I've not.
Coming in? Huh?
She was again.
and crackers, huh?
You have to pay attention to Kat Mosley because she won't. The turns of phrases.
Slip it in on
It's
you.
we thought
Drop
we were
it.
going to hear Hyman. You thought I thought heartbreak as
I
well.
thought heartbreak,
The
too.
ending of sentences for Kat Mosley. She's a good writer. She's a good writer. She's
Thank you.
methodical.
Well, I was gonna say there are 4 things we always discuss on this podcast. That would be childhood, heartbreak. We'll take Hyman's on
close
this
with
one. Yeah.
that was good.
Trauma and death. So as far as trauma, the question we tend to throw out there's 2. What is the worst thing you've ever done? And what is the worst thing that has ever happened to you?
Oh, shit.
And you can obviously pick podcast appropriate, material here.
Oh, my God. My worst.
I know.
Ooh, I'm gonna think about this.
I think
Go ahead. You have a.
Well, I'm just wondering. Yeah, I think if you need to, I think sometimes it's a lot easier. I think we found it's easier for people to figure out what's maybe the worst thing that ever happened to them. You know, if you have illness in the family, some things that you're just like you got rocked, like your whole kind of world, collapsing kind of stuff. Those dark moments.
I mean, Mama's stroke and the Nick Epiphany, that was huge. That was, and it changed things for me. It changed my approach to career. And I think it has still. I still have PTSD from it. I absolutely do. And getting healthy, like I've lost some weight, and that's absolutely like. My mother's health issues have impacted it, and being like, I never want to be in a hospital. Like, I don't want to be inpatient in a fucking hospital. Like, fuck
I was
that.
listening to somebody recently. I don't remember what it was, but they were making the point that like the main things that kill people, like particularly like stroke or heart attack, it's all stuff that like literally if you get ahead of it, that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Just don't ignore it.
Yeah.
So I believe me, I get that.
I ate a pound of bacon last weekend.
I had a Snickers for brunch.
Let's all go around the room. Jesse, you go ahead.
I had a healthy vegan breakfast.
Wow.
Wait, no. It was soy. So I made my own breakfast, but I had my girlfriend, so we keep all vegan stuff.
Okay.
So she made an exception and let me keep eggs there. So I had eggs and soy sausage.
You are dating a vegan.
I'm dating a vegan. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have to brush before you kiss? What do you do?
She's not that.
I don't think she's that bad. And she's only, and it's not allergic or anything like that. But by
No,
now she's doing
it's
it
solely.
also.
Well, her biggest thing is she's a big environmentalist,
Yes.
and I think her mom went vegetarian when she was very young, so it was just like normal for her. They just all went along with it.
Yeah.
So.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So whatever you eat healthy food. Shut the hell up now.
Dude, I ate garbage. She was chastising me at that party. Like, why are you eating all that sausage? Like, because it's free. That's why. All my morals go out the window as soon as I am in a place like, have whatever you want.
Hey, there's a tray of sausages over here. I'm like, I will be over there.
Yeah.
Free food trumps everything.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
It's honestly never been good for my weight. I am incapable of turning down free food.
Yeah. I've had to get better at it. Yeah. It's oh my God. Free sandwiches at the end of the night. Like at Fergie's, people who worked at other restaurants would come and bring food that they were marking out. And Brian would bring that shit home. Oh my God. And I have a food radar in my sleep. So I know there's food in the midst, in the middle of the night. I roll over and it's terrible.
I am a sleep eater. I know exactly what that is. I will wake up in the middle of the night and before my brain turns on, I've eaten like half a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It just makes sense to me. It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I feel less alone.
Well, no, it is definitely a feeling like I will not get back to sleep unless I put this little beast inside me down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
have to put this beast inside me. Thank you.
Are we talking
I'm
about
still
the
on
42-year-old?
unsheath when you were talking about Neil. I put his beast inside me. I did.
Sorry.
Listen, we've all let
I'm
a
sorry,
beast or
Kat.
two inside.
We
It's,
have. I'm thinking of some of the beasts. Oh my God.
Is this too personal? But I mean, as my sisters and stuff, well, it says like the women in my family are bigger. Were you teased as a Were you bigger when you were teased? A little?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was.
That's got to be brutal.
Yo, here's the thing. I hang out with cool people.
Right. You attract
I'm
cool
not
people. You're
Cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
attract. But like honestly, I'm clumsy. I'm awkward inside. I'm anxious.
You're bubbly. You're not bubbly, but I want to say that you give a great energy. You have a great,
Thank you.
vibe.
Radiant.
Thank
Radiant
you.
is
I appreciate that, y'all.
So,
And then I know, you know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
people look at my shoes, I'm like, oh, don't do that. I feel like shoes are a great way to profile somebody who's like not cool
Sure.
or who
Yep.
like is a mess.
No, it's absolutely.
And mine are consistently a mess. I'm like, they're gonna figure it out.
I am a big believer. If you have decent shoe game, you can just dress like garbage the rest of the time.
Yeah,
That's
because your shoes
my
are tight.
philosophy.
Yeah.
Then again, pretty much every shoe I own has a hole in the foot right now, hole in the sole.
My shoes
so I
are
need to work on
toe up. Yeah.
my shoe. That's bad.
They're messed up. Yeah, it's terrible. I just buffed some coffee stains out of these to walk over here.
You a little rascal? What is the coffees? They're not a little. Yeah. Jeez.
It's hard to aim before I have enough caffeine.
I thought it was polish. It was grounds. All right. Well, the last thing we talk about here is death. We record this on Sunday, the Lord's Day.
Yeah.
To feel close to him.
Yes.
So, do you have what was like a big experience you had with death, or like a first
And
one?
your mom.
Oh,
was
at
clearly
first,
having a
yeah,
stroke
she
is
survived,
big,
but that was
thankfully.
But look at
Close.
mortality in the face is
Yeah.
very
That
much
was
the same.
some shit. I mean, that reduced me to tears in some surprising ways. Like, because my mom walked into the hospital when she had the stroke, and like earlier
wow.
in the day when she was having symptoms, we had gone to a buffet like on Black Friday. And then she was having symptoms in the car on the way back. I don't drive. My mom drives. So she just wanted to chill. And I remember being annoyed, like, I guess we'll chill because you're not feeling well.
Right.
And she sounded weird. And then she recovered. And we drove home. And then she just, like, kept having these episodes. But ultimately, like, we walked into the hospital. So I watched the stroke happen in, like, slow motion. So she was having facial and speech disturbances, and then she was fine. And then I walked her to the restroom,
Right.
and then, like, she had an MRI the next day. And then I tried to walk her to the bathroom in her hospital room, and she almost fell. And even then I was like, come on, Mom, you can do this.
Right.
But like what no one had told us was that she had the stroke. So it was a matter of time before the nerve damage came. And so then later in the night, but still I didn't know. So I was there with her for like a day and a half with her body just like going away.
Yeah.
Not knowing
Right.
why. And I didn't know how far that was going to go. So it was like looking death in the face. It was really like, I can't trust you people to tell me everything.
Right.
Right.
This is
I'm watching and I know
Meanwhile-
enough.
especially in
Yeah.
women of color. They've talked about the
Yeah.
diagnosis of heart attacks and strokes and stuff like that.
Right.
In women in general, and then
Yeah.
also women of color, they tend to be more,
This-
comes
the-
out
the-
in different ways and symptoms, and they don't diagnose
They
it.
ignore
Right.
our
The symptoms
symptoms.
very much are on a different spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they dismiss our symptoms when we
Yep.
say, my mom is an RN, has
Right.
been like my whole life. And I worked in medical education. I did simulations where we did stroke cases, and I practiced simulating
Right.
strokes and learning the anatomy that could be impacted by it. So she and I were both very clear on what was happening to her, and weren't getting clear communication from the people whose responsibility it was to know, from the people with the scans. Like we weren't getting
Yeah.
it from them. So it's fucking trippy, even if you know, to be learning it from your own symptoms, what's happening in your body.
Right.
So
That's terrifying.
that fucking
Yeah.
There's any
sucks.
grandparents or anything like that? Were grandparents in the picture when you're in the South Bronx or something like that? Where you want to?
My grandma also lived in the South Bronx. We call her Magnificent. Because she there was one day we all went and saw movies, and we came, I think my brothers and I saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nice.
And my grandmother saw a movie maybe called The Doctor with my mom, like a more serious movie. And so, like, after the movie, we're all like, yo, that movie was so good. It was so fun. And we were like, how was the movie you watched, Grandma? And she was like, that film script was magnificent. And
I wouldn't know what movie
so
she
she's
saw
the
now.
magnificent. I think
Grandma's
it was
movie
The
reviews.
Doctor. Yeah.
The Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she quite enjoyed it. She's tough. Like, she is a hard ass woman.
She's still around?
Yeah. She's in her 80s now, her early 80s. And one thing I've been experiencing recently is like my grandma, when she gets to talking about something, you can see all the saliva in her mouth. And it's like, Grandma, God gave you lips, pull it in. Like, hold your, so that's what they're there for. And now I'm spitting. I don't know how so much saliva is escaping my mouth post 40, but it is getting out.
wondering if it
There's
was
the
this
Doctor.
one, William,
What
with
year is
William
that? Is that like
Hurt.
early
90
90s?
91.
That's
yeah.
the one.
Yep.
That's the one.
Wow.
It was magnificent, y'all.
I mean, William Hurt's in it. He was a great actor.
See the Doctor. Nancy Mosley says
I
that's
want
that
you
shit.
now, if we could always have where like your grandmother is the movie review.
I would
critic.
love
Like,
for my
she's-
grandma. Yo,
She was like, "This is right out from Magnificent. It's Rotten Tomatoes."
I'm gonna talk to her about that.
IMDb, and then Magnificent. Just like, who's Magnificent? She just knows movie scripts, man.
You don't want my grandma to call you trash.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really
yeah.
don't want that.
Oh my god.
I heard that one time she was in an argument with people in an apartment building. She went and got a gun. She was ready to fucking.
My there's a
Fire
story of
on
my
people.
great grandmother. They owned a
Yeah.
bar, and then she had a little pea shooter. Some guy came in
Yeah.
talking nonsense, and she pulled a gun on him.
Yep.
It was just
There you go.
she was like, "Yeah, you can either die if you want to die. You can
Yeah.
either die or leave or something like
Yeah.
that." Yeah.
I
Just, you know.
respect. I respect women
My
who will pull
family
a gun.
owned. My family owned bars as well.
Left
Like
by
the
herself.
the immigrant class that came
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
They all bought bars.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, bars?
Yeah, they would buy.
Oh, like bars, like drinking bars. I
Yeah.
thought-
Yeah. Like they would usually. Well, I know my family when they showed up, they went immediately to Camden, which was still very much like racially segregated. But that was where a lot of the European immigrants went. There was like the Italian neighborhood. We were the Polish neighborhood, and you just open the local bar, and that's where all the Polacks are
Yo,
gonna go.
Polish people. I had a Polish fetish for a minute. Like,
Sup, girl?
especially when I
How you
heard, especially when I heard, because y'all have that scary shit too, man. Y'all got a little scary to you, the Polish people,
Oh,
and you
terrifying
wouldn't
people.
know that from the Polak jokes I grew up with. You like
Oh
wouldn't
yeah, no.
know this.
Oh, I've been terrified of their birthday song forever. That's like a running trope.
Stole
It's terrifying. Stop it, dude. We're here. It's so
Ooh,
scary.
I feel
Yeah.
threatened.
I
Okay,
know,
yeah.
man.
You're threatened and excited.
Yeah.
What I thought I was gonna talk about. Okay, this is uncomfortable.
No,
Oh,
what
It
happened?
happened just last night though. Okay, so I
Okay.
have internal genitals. I am a fertile woman. So like last night I was wearing a pad, right?
Okay.
So but like a lot of my clothes are loose. I was wearing like my leggings are loose now, my drawers
Right.
are loose now. So I don't know. So the pad didn't quite conform
Okay.
to
Gotcha.
me. So I
Right.
run around talking about how like if I had external genitals, I'd be putting them on people all the time. There was a point last night, and I know the people around me saw this because I looked down. I bet the pad made it look like I had an erection last night.
nah.
So I thought I was going to talk about that horrible thing that happened. Like I got to have my moment.
Right,
and,
you got to have-
and like, is Kat trans? That's cool. I can handle that question.
Sure.
Maybe I'm lying about being trans, but am I running around with an erection on
Yeah,
people?
right.
Like that's kind of tougher.
It's rude if
to live
we
with.
do it. I don't know why we're allowed to just.
Also, I should be more equal opportunity. You
I
know
think,
what?
yeah.
I am not gonna avoid ill-fitting underwear anymore.
No.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
that's
have
a
pad
bummer.
erections for.
Pad erections, please. Oh, album title
Pad erections.
for
That might be the episode title.
yeah. that's- I like that a bunch.
All right. Well, the very final question we have is very
course.
fitting. It's the final question. What do you think happens when we die?
Yeah.
Where do we go? Is it nothing? Is it something?
Are we still religious? Are
Ooh,
we-
I love that you surprised me with this shit right here. Do they know? You didn't give me these questions in advance.
Yep. We try.
So, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm gonna like really think about what I
know.
think happens. I actually, it's convenient right now in human form to think that my essence leaves my body and I'm worried about human bullshit. I don't believe that. I don't think that, I don't think the consciousness that is Kat, that's so weird because I do believe in ghosts.
Okay.
I believe in ghosts and I believe in demons. I believe in tons of like unseen shit.
Okay.
I do think that shit is out there. So
I
I don't know how
understand
them people
that
get
disconnect.
stuck. Yeah. But I think if you don't get stuck, you just like, you go someplace where it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you ask the energy in that space what it was, it like would have no words for you. Like,
Right.
nigga, why you using words? Like,
Right.
I just am. This is
Yes.
isness. But the ghost part.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to end up as a ghost, you know what I mean? That seems like a very boring and neurotic existence. Like just
walk in the same
having-
hallway.
Yeah.
just bummed out.
Over and over again. You know what I mean? And can they turn on the smart TV? I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Especially if you get caught on some dumb
Oh
shit.
God!
Yeah.
I had to break my mother's heart one day because she believes in this. This is after somebody had died, and we were like in the house watching TV. She said, "Look, the lights dimmed. You know, every time the lights dim, they say that's a spirit. That's a spirit coming by." And like, Mom, did you not notice that happens every time the air conditioner turns on? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I've been in that place. No, the ghost okay. One night I was sitting at Fergie's with Brian, and the bartender at the first floor bar was behind the bar. The seats to my left were empty. Al Green was playing. I think it was Still in Love with You. And all of us were over here talking, over to my right, and then over to my left, a voice very clearly started singing along with the Al Green. And Brian, who doesn't believe in ghosts, has to confirm the story. And the windows weren't, nobody was on the street. There was a voice in the bar with us singing along.
Goes like carry a tune.
That's some cool shit. And it could carry. The thing is, he sounded good. He sounded good. He would have had a future if he didn't.
Maybe it was Al
if he wasn't
Green.
stuck
Is Al
in the
Green
past.
still alive?
Al Green is still alive. I think the last time I talked about this at Fergie's, we looked it up, and he
Okay.
lived. Actually, I'm not sure because it was late at night. I can't trust
I
my
know
late
there
night
was
brain.
a soul singer. Yeah, there he is.
He's living, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no death date. Yeah,
No.
Born 1946.
Al Green needs an "I'm Not Dead Yet" website. He
Yeah, that's true.
73. Yeah, that ain't
Okay,
bad.
still kicking around. This is amazing.
So I used to believe in dimming lights and sounds in the house and stuff like that, but now I'm like, if you sing, if a disembodied voice sings next to me, I mean, I think that's a
And that's some of the friendlier
enough.
ones. That's fine. That's not demonic or
right.
anything. Yeah.
I'm not getting claws in me and getting
Yeah,
thrown
that's good.
downstairs and shit. It's not that. No,
I know.
this is a happy ghost that just want to sing.
The friendliest ghost you
Loving
know.
smooth music.
Yeah,
I like it.
I just want to sing you some R&B after 2
Okay.
2 a.m.
So as long as you don't get
Nice.
trapped in a building or something, yeah, you're not like a weird cemetery ghost who's just gonna walk around looking for a cat or anything.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, you're not punishing me for being alive. I don't know. I don't like them ghosts that make it cold in the room. Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta
Yeah,
drop the
that's not
temperature in
just-
here?
I like that they control that. I like that.
I wonder how that works in
I think it's a
tropical
symptom.
locations.
I think it's a symptom of being a ghost. I don't think they're like, should I turn on my coldness factor right now?
Oh.
I should probably turn on my cold. It's cold now.
I wonder if in cities along the
thought they were
equators they
activated.
actually hope for ghosts, just anything to get a little nice breeze in here.
cold
Yeah.
spots and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I
Yeah.
like to think that they can do it. That they have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a thermostat
They're just
or
like,
something. Yeah.
cold in here, isn't it now, buddy? It's cold. That's right. I'm the singer at the bar, Al Green.
All right. Well, that was a great
spectacular.
fucking
Oh,
episode.
that was fun.
Yeah, thank you for
Thanks,
coming in.
y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah. thanks for having me.
Let's run down plugs again.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
we could go through? Where did you have something else? to say?
Wonderful. No, that's what I was going
Oh,
to say too.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was going to say the same
So
thing.
yeah, you just you know what? We'll go through ours while you pull up all your shit. You can
Yeah,
find
please.
me at Jesse Dram at Magic Misery Tour on all the things. So far, the only show I have coming up is John and Peters. That is December 26th. Neil.
Nice. Yeah, IamNeilWood.com for all my details. Come see me for a fun one at Manny Brown's. Level Monsters is nice enough to throw me a little time, and that's a good show just in general to go out to. So you can go see that. So Ryan Foster and Peggy O'Leary, they have a podcast on the network as well, but they do that at Manny Brown's, and I believe that's November 21st. So you can come check out that, and I got some other stuff, but you can go to IamNeilWood.com for those dates and details.
I just checked and I'm on the 21st with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the Leak podcast drops every Monday except tomorrow. We took the weekend off, but listen to last week's episode with Chris Cotton because it is really good. And for
love
comics,
Chris
there's some
Cotton.
good shit in there. Every Sunday, catch me at Fergie. Signups are at 8:30 and the show is at 9. And then of course, Cave Roast Battle.
That's right.
And that's at the Cave somewhere, 17th Street North.
It's
Yeah,
a
y'all can
17th in
find it.
Arlington near
Yeah.
Temple Campus.
Easily found at Cave Philly.
Yep.
Just at Cave Philly, you'll get all the information you need.
Sweet.
They have some great stuff.
Kat, thanks for coming in here today. This is
Thanks
fucking great.
for listening.
It was a great show, everybody.
Katonya.
So good. Thank you.
Did you say your social media, or did I miss that part?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Real
cool.
Katonya
Real,
Breathes
yeah.
on Twitter and
Awesome.
Katonya
That is
Mosley.
Katony.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Real
Wonderful,
Katonya.
guys. Well, I hope you guys have a good Halloween.
Thank
All
you
right.
too.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
Bye. I'll make you hurt, baby.
This has been a DropTent Media production.